Hi there, once again, grade 7. Today we will talk about using phrases, clauses, and sentences meaningfully. So this is our topic for week 7. Let us perform a short review of our previous topic on direct and reported speeches before moving on to our topic this week. Number 1, what is a direct speech? As you recall, a direct speech is the reporting of what another person has said using the exact words. Remember also that direct speeches make use of quotation marks. Question number 2. What is a reported speech? On the other hand, a reported speech is still the reporting of what another person has said, but you are not using the exact words of that person. When you write it, a reported speech does not use quotation marks. Number 3, what are the similarities of direct and reported speeches? So, ang kinapareho sang direct kag reported speeches is that both of them give information about what another person has said. So, ang direct kag reported speeches pareho nga naga-report or nagahambal kung ano ang ginhambal sang isa pagid katawo. Also, direct and reported speeches both use reporting verbs such as said, told, asked, and others. Review question number 4. What about the differences of direct and reported speeches? Based on the discussion given last time, we discovered that there were 4 differences between direct and reported speeches. 1. A direct speech use quotation marks, whereas reported speeches do not use quotation marks. The second difference is that you change the pronoun, if necessary, when you change a direct speech to a reported speech. Number 3, reported speeches can use the word that. So you can say, he said that, but remember I also said that the word that is optional. So when you are writing a reported speech, you can either use that or know that. And the last difference is that there is a change in the tense of verb when you are changing a direct speech to a reported speech. So please make sure that if you have forgotten something, you go back to your module so that you can perfectly understand direct and reported speeches. For this week, kindly take note of the following objectives for our lesson. 1. Define phrase, clause, and sentence. Objective number 2. Differentiate phrase, clause, and sentence from one another. And the third objective is construct sentences using clauses and phrases. So ang aton nga lesson for this week will focus on phrases, clauses, and sentences. Dapat makabalo kita sang diferensya sang tatlo after naton madiscuss kag after ninyo mabasa ang module. We will now get into the discussion proper. Make sure that you have your modules with you. Likewise, your notebooks for the activities that will follow suit. So let's talk first about a sentence. Here we discuss the definition of a sentence so that we can fully understand kung ano ang ginatawag nga sentence. So take note that a sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought or idea. So underlinean ko na ang pinaka-importante nga part sa atong definition. So ang sentence ko no, grupo sang words nga nagapabutyag sang isa ka kompleto nga idea. So we can say nga kung magbasa ikaw for example sang isa ka group of words kag hindi kompleto ang idea, hindi sentence ang imo ginalantaw. Dapat kompleto ang idea sang ina nga grupo sang words para mahambal mo nga ina siya sentence. Okay? Second, a sentence typically contains a subject and a predicate. So, ang sentence nimo may ara sang duwa ka importante nga parts para matawag siya liwat nga sentence. A sentence, again, should have a subject and a predicate. Try to look at the example. Kate is a thin girl. So, what you are looking at there, rather, is an example of a sentence. Why? Because when we go back to the definition, the group of words that reads, Kate is a thin girl, is understandable. Di ba? Maintindihan siya, therefore, kompleto ang iya nga idea. Second reason kung nga a sentence siya, it's because when you analyze the structure, makita nimo ang ginatawag nga subject kag ang ginatawag nga predicate. Okay? So for example, gin-highlight na naton ang subject. By the way, we will talk about subject and predicate later in detail. But for now, kabalo kita nga base sa mga previous lessons Kate, the word Kate in the sentence acts as the subject, and then ang tupad ni Kate nga is pakadto sa girl, which reads is a thin girl, is our predicate. So we have subject and then we have predicate. Therefore, again, Kate is a thin girl is an example of a sentence. Okay? So kindly understand fully ang definition sa aton sentence. Once again, a sentence is composed of a subject and a predicate. So let's talk about what a subject is. So ang subject sang sentence could be a person, animal, place, thing or concept that does an action. Okay? So you have there a list sa mga posible nga himuon naton subject. Ang subject gali pwede siya nga tawo, pwede man siya nga sapat, pwede siya nga lugar, pwede siya nga bagay, or pwede man siya nga idea nga nagahimo sang action sa sentence. Second, the subject usually is the topic of the sentence. That's why you were taught sang elementary, ang subject ang ginaistoryahan sang sentence. Because a subject usually is the topic of the sentence. A subject is usually found at the beginning of a sentence. Now, in most sentences, ang aton subject usually makita sa una sang sentence. Usually, okay, please take note of the word usually because there are cases nga ang subject nimo wala sa una. Pero kalabanan or laban-laban, ang subject usually is found again at the beginning of a sentence. When you go back to the example sentence I gave you sa previous slide, which read, Kate is a thin girl, di ba we labeled Kate as our subject. So, ang Kate nga subject naton, is, as you can see, ara siya sa una. Okay, katapusan, subject can be determined by asking who or what. Kung hindi ikaw kabalo mangita sang subject, so pwede mo ko nang mapamangkot ang questions nga, who or what? Sino ang nagahimo sang action or ano ang nagahimo sang action? Because if you ask the questions who or what, usually ang sabat sina would be the subject. Okay? So I hope klaro na ang ginatawag nga subject sang sentence. Talking about subject, please take note also that we have many kinds of subject. Okay? So to be exact, we will discuss 3 kinds of subject. So tun-an nyo gid ni palihog kag insindihon because there will be some activities later nga anseran ninyo where you will try to locate the subject of the sentences. Okay. So una nga pwede naton matawag nga subject is ang ginatawag nga simple subject. So, kung lang tawon nimo ang example, balik kita sa ginhatag ko kagina. Kate is a thin girl. So, ang simple subject, makakonclude kita nga, of course, simple sa nga subject, di ba? It's usually one word, one person, one idea, one place, one thing. Okay, that's why it is called a simple subject. So, in the example given, Kate is a thin girl. We have there the simple subject, Kate. Okay? So again, ang simple subject is usually a word, isa siya ka word or isa siya ka concept or isa ka tao or isa ka idea. That's why again, it is called a simple subject. Okay, secondly, may ginatawag man kita nga complete subject. So basahon nata danay ang example para somehow makakonclude ka mo kung ano ang ginatawag nga complete subject. Jeffrey's poem about his mother made the class cry. Okay? So, ang underlinean ko dira is Jeffrey's poem about his mother. So, panawag sina is complete subject. So, again, when translated, complete subject means kompleto nga subject. Hindi ta siya pwede makonsider nga simple subject because hindi sa isa lang ka word. May ara siya mga describing words. May mga upod siya nga words nga nagahatag pagid information or additional information sa imo subject. Okay? For example, kung pamangkuton ka dira sa sang imo simple subject sa Jeffrey's poem about his mother, ano gid ang pinakatuod-tuod nga topic? So, ang pinakatuod-tuod nga topic is poem. 'Di ba? So, ang poem is actually the simple subject. But then again, ang poem may mga upod nga iban pagid nga words. What are those words? For one, ang word sa una, Jeffrey's poem. So, ang word nga Jeffrey's, add information to the word poem. What else? May tupad pagid ang poem sa tuo about his mother. Ano ang ginhimo sang words or phrase nga about his mother? Nag-describe further sa poem. So that's why ang kompleto nga subject sang aton sentence number 2 is Jeffrey's poem about his mother. In that case, we have an example of what we call a complete subject. Okay? So tanda ilang complete subject is kompleto nga subject. Ang subject nga may mga upod nga describing words. Kay ikatatlo, compound subject. Okay, ang compound subject naman niya is may pares nga subject. Example, Paul and Tommy joined the soccer team at the same time. What have you noticed with the underlined words Paul and Tommy? Yes, may ara siya, connecting word nga and. So pag and, buod silingon, sobra sa isa ang imo nga subject. 'Di ba? How many subjects do we have in this case? We have 2. What are they? Paul, kag, Tommy. So pag sobra sa isa ang subject, panawag sina compound subject. So there you go. Those are the 3 kinds of subjects that we needed to discuss. Now, let's apply our knowledge on the different kinds of subject and try to locate and identify kung ano klase nga subject may ara kita sa kada sentences nga makita naton. Okay. Everybody please read sentence number 1. In 3, 2, 1, start. The cover of the book is quite colorful. Okay, question. What is the subject of the sentence? Okay, kung mabudlayan ka gani pangita, sang imo subject, balik ka to sa definition sang subject. Ano ang ginaistoryahan sang sentence? What else? Ang subject usually kuno ara sa una sang sentence. Okay. So kung i-apply ta na nga mga ideas, ano ang makita natin nga subject sa sentence? Alright? So the subject in our sentence is the cover of the book. Kaya amo na siya ang ginaistoryahan sang aton nga sentence. Okay? Now, looking at the underlined subject, what kind of subject is the cover of the book? Is it a simple subject, a complete subject, or a compound subject? Alright. So, the cover of the book is an example of a complete subject. Kay grupo siya sang words nga makita sa subject, and then ang subject nga kompleto kay may upod nga mga describing words. Ang imo real subject or simple subject. What is the simple subject there? You have cover, 'di ba? Tapos ang cover ginupdan sang the kaginupdan sang of the book. Therefore, you have a complete subject. Okay, sentence number 2. Joe Biden won the recent US election for president. Again, what or who is the subject of the sentence? Correct. We have the subject, Joe Biden. What kind of subject are you looking at? Is it a simple subject, a complete subject, or a compound subject? Very good. Joe Biden is one person, therefore, your subject is an example of a simple subject. Sentence number 3. Sunlight and food are essential for survival. Again, please locate the subject of your sentence. Ano ang ginaistoryahan sa sentence? Now, in this case, our subject is sunlight and food. And what kind of subject is it? It is an example of a compound subject kay duwa ka bilog because we have the connecting word and. So we have subject number 1, sunlight. Subject number 2, food. So may duwa kita ka subjects, therefore we have a compound subject. We already understood subject. Naintindihan ta na ang subject, but remember, ang sentence para makompleto kinanglan subject kag predicate. So now we will talk about predicates. A predicate includes the verb and everything that follows it. Okay, please take note of that. The first definition there is the most important. Ang imo kuno predicate must start sa verb kag ang tanan nga nagasunod sa verb. Okay? Makita ta na later sa example. Basta panumduma lang ang predicate nimo naga-start sa verb kag ang tanan nga mga tupad sang verb patuo. Okay, number 2. A predicate tells what the subject does with an action verb or describes the subject using a linking verb and a complement. So, ang pulos ang subject kagina is that ang subject ang ginaistoryahan sang sentence, sa sentence rather. Ang predicate naman, ang pulos ang predicate is that ginasugid diya sa aton kung ano ang ginahimo or ang action sang imo nga subject, or pwede man nga ang predicate ma-describe sa subject using a linking verb. Okay? So amo na siya ang uses ang aton nga predicate. Kay di ba ang sentence kompleto ang idea, so kinahanglan ang predicate para makompleto ang idea sang subject. Examples: Kelly walked down the street. Okay. So, ang subject naton there is, of course, Kelly. Diba? Diin nag-start ang aton nga predicate. Nag-start ang aton nga predicate sa verb. Kay that is the definition that we had kagina. Includes the verb and everything that follows it. Therefore, our predicate is walked down the street. Halin sa verb nga walked, kag tanan nga words patuo. Okay? So, ikaduwa, Kate is a thin girl. O kabalo naman kita nga ang subject dira kagina is Kate. This time, ang aton nga predicate nga na-determine is a thin girl. Again, nag-start siya sa verb. In that case, ang verb naton is, a linking verb. Kung lantawon ta ang sentence number 1, we have an action verb. Ang sentence number 2, we have a linking verb nga is. Okay? So, naigo ang aton nga ikaduwa nga definition sa predicate. Ang sentence number 1, ang predicate naton tells kung ano ang action sang sentence. What is the action of Kelly? Walked. Diba? O, ang aton sentence number 2, pwede man nga ang predicate kuno naga-describe sa aton nga subject using a linking verb. So, ano ang descriptive word or words dira? A thin girl. So, again, that is the purpose of a predicate. Just like your subject, we also have many kinds of predicate. Ang ining lesson actually is very much similar sa aton kinds of subject. Okay, so may tatlo man kita ka kinds of predicate. One is, again, simple predicate. Pareho sang simple subject kagina. So, ang simple predicate, again, is simple nga predicate. Usually, it is composed of one action verb. For example, Harry cried. What is the predicate of the sentence? Of course, we have the word cried. Nga agin tawag siya nga simple predicate because isa lang sa ka action word. So, ang simple predicate is, again, isa ka action word. Now, in that case, kung lang tawon mo ang subject, isa man lang ka word, di ba? So, you have there simple subject nga Harry plus simple predicate nga cried. Period. So, pwede gali kita makahimo sang sentence nga duwa lang ka words. Pareho sang Harry cried. Okay? Kay kompleto naman na ang idea. At the same time, may ara ka man sang imo subject kag predicate. Therefore, sentence na siya nga matawag. Bisan duwa lang siya ka words. Okay, ikaduwa. We also have what we call a complete predicate. So, ang complete predicate naton, ang verb nga may mga upod nga iban naman nga mga describing words. Usually adverbs. Okay? Example, the mouse slowly ran towards the food. Okay? What is the simple predicate there? Ano ang pinaka-real gid nga predicate naton? O syempre di ba verb ang aton nga predicate gasugod sa verb. So pwede ta makahambal nga ang aton simple nga predicate there is ran. Naglagan. But in that case, again, we have some words around the word ran that give more information to the verb ran. For one, we have the word slowly, which is an adverb kaya nag-describe sa verb. And then we also have towards the food. So, ang aton nga simple nga predicate, may mga upod nga iban nga mga describing words. Pareho sang subject kagina, therefore, that is what we call a complete predicate. Okay, third, we also have what we call a compound predicate. For example, she laughed at the dog's tricks and decided to adopt him. Okay, so kung lantawon nato ng aton underlined nga predicate, once again, there is a very noticeable usage of the word and. Diba? So, nag-usar naman and ang aton nga predicate there. So, pag and, di ba may ara siya gina-connect? So, pila ka bilog actions ang aton makita? Dua. So, one is the action laughed, and then Second is the action decided. So, sobra sa isa nga verb. Therefore, pwede ta na siya matawag nga compound predicate. Kay duwa na siya ka-action or duwa na siya ka predicates nga ginsugpon sang word nga and. Let us now try identifying the predicates in the following sentences. Let's read all together sentence number 1. The group and their leader talked. What is the predicate in the sentence? So sa liwat ang predicate nagasugod sa verb, di ba? So in that case, we can only say nga ang aton nga predicate is nagsugod sa talked. May sugpon wala o wala na. So how many words are there in our predicate? Only one. So therefore, what kind of predicate are we looking at? Talked is an example of a simple predicate, kay isa lang. So kita nyo na ang the group and their leader is your subject, and then ang word nga talked is your predicate. What kind of predicate again do you have? Simple predicate, kay isa lang ka word. Pero what kind of subject do you have? Compound subject, kay may ara siya and. Okay? O, so ginapang combine ko na ang mga concepts nga na-discuss naton. Sentence number 2. Mike opened the door and got inside. What is the predicate of the sentence? O, pangitaon liwat ang verb. Dito ma-start sa action word or sa linking verb. In that case, wala kita linking verb, wala kita am, is, are, was, were. May ara kita action word. So we have opened the door and got inside. Kay masugod ko no sa verb, kag ang iban pagid nga mga words nga nadala sa tuo. Okay, so what kind of predicate is it? Okay, so kung nakita nyo ang word nga and, kag kabalo kita nga may una nga action, kag may ikaduwa nga action, nga ginsugpon sang word nga and, sorry, this one action number 2. So we have compound predicate. Diba? So sa sentence number 2 naton may ara kita compound predicate. What kind of subject do we have? Simple subject nga Mike. Kay si Mike isa lang. Okay. Number 3. The event has ended so soon. Okay, what is the predicate of the sentence? Alright. Has ended so soon. Damo words. May ara pa time expression. So, ano sa nga klase predicate? Complete predicate. Correct. Okay. And then, our subject is, of course, the event. What kind of subject is it? Complete subject man. Kaya ang word nga event, may ara tupad nga the. So, tandai lang ang mga important nga concepts about a sentence because our next lesson will be about phrases. We will now talk about what a phrase is. Ang phrase nga ginatawag naman niya is a group of words that does not express a complete thought. Okay? So, lantawon nyo to ang similarities kagina with the sentence. Ang phrase naton, grupo man sang words, pareho sang sentence. Diba ang sentence, grupo man to sang words. Ano ang kinalain nila nga duwa? Sa case ang phrase naman niya, grupo siya tuod sang words, pero hindi kompleto ang iya nga idea. Therefore, hindi mo siya maintindihan. Okay? Sige, ikaduwa. A group of words that express a concept and is used as a unit within a sentence. May ara man siya tuod ginapabutyag or gina-express nga idea, but then again, hindi siya kompleto nga thought. Also, ang phrase naton gali is a unit within a sentence. Butsilingon, ang phrase naton pwede matawag nga pahat-pahat nga parts ang sentence. ang mga gagmay da nga words or a grupo sang words nga sa sulod sang sentence, pwede mo na matawag nga phrases. Okay? So, pwede naton gali mahambal nga a sentence is a group of phrases man. Kay, once again, ang mga pahat-pahat dira nga grupo sang word sa sulod sang sentence, ginatawag na naton nga phrases. Let's try to read the following examples of phrases in 3, 2, 1. The bewildered tourist. On the table. Picnic basket in hand. Their heads hanging down. Camped by the river. Enjoy sitting. To travel. That reads music. My shopping list. Waited patiently. Okay, so ang ginalantaw nyo da subong, examples na sila sang phrases. Okay? So definitely, fit na fit sila sa aton pag-explain sa ginatawag nga phrases. Example, lantawan nyo bala ang group of words nga on the table. 'Di ba? Grupo siya sang words because it is composed of 3 words on the kag table, but it does not express a complete thought. 'Di ba? Ano ang ara sa table? Something like that. So definitely it's not a sentence. But kung lantawon nimo ang phrase nga on the table, pareho sa hambal ta kagina, pwede nga part siya sang sentence. Kay again, ang aton sentence is composed actually of groups of phrases. Another example, enjoy sitting. O phrase man na sa, kay nga pwede sa nga part sang sentence, definitely sa predicate nga part, di ba? Kay you have enjoy, which is a verb. Pero, hindi ka kabalo kung sino ang naga-enjoy sitting. Therefore, hindi siya kompleto ang thought. O last example, my shopping list. O that is also a phrase. Why again? Because the thought is not complete. Kabalo kita nga pwede siya mangin part sang subject or predicate, pero ano dayon ang natabo sa shopping list, we don't know because the idea is not complete. So, to sum it up, ang grupo sang words nga hindi kompleto ang thought, nga kung lantawon nimo, pwede siya mangin part sang subject or mangin part sang predicate, tawag ta sina is phrase. The last part of our lesson is all about clauses. So we will be dealing with clauses at this point and try to figure out the difference of a clause sa gin-discuss naton nga sentences kag phrases. Here's the meaning of the word clause for you. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate that could either have a complete thought or not have a complete thought. Okay? So may duwa kita ka importanteng part sang aton nga meaning sang clause. Una naton nga dapat panumdumon, when talking about clauses, ang clauses naton grupo man siya sang words ha, pero may ara siya subject kag may ara siya predicate. Sir, sentence man na ang imong ang gina-define. Yes, pwede ang clause mangin sentence. Or pwede ang sentence matawag natin nga clause. They are interchangeable. Pero kadto kita sa ikaduwa nga part sa atong definition, that could either have a complete thought or not have a complete thought. Panumdumon liwat ha, ang clause may ara subject kag may predicate. Pero may ara kita gali duwa ka klase sang clauses. Ang clause nga kompleto ang thought, which is panawag naton independent clause, or hindi kompleto ang thought, which panawag naton dependent clause. Okay? So sa liwat, ang clause grupo sang words nga may subject kag predicate. Pero pwede siya nga kompleto ang thought, panawag independent clause, or hindi kompleto ang thought, panawag dependent clause. Okay? Let's try to look at some examples. Unahon naton danay ang independent clause. Ang independent clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and has a complete thought. Bukod silingon, ang independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. Ang imo bala simple sentence, di ba kay ang simple sentence may subject kag may predicate, kompleto ang thought. So pwede ka makahambal ang simple sentence is also called independent clause. At the same time, independent clause is also a simple sentence. Okay? So tandaan ha. So, oh, para sa ginahambal ko lang tawa palihog ang third nga bullet. A simple sentence therefore is an independent clause. Okay? So example, I enjoy sitting by the fireplace and reading. Okay. So, ang subject nimo is, simple subject is I, and then you have enjoy sitting by the fireplace and reading. You have there a complete predicate. So, may subject sa kag may predicate, yes? Yes. At the same time, maintindihan siya, hindi. Maintindihan. Kay kompleto ang thought. Therefore, ina nga simple sentence is also called independent clause. Okay? O sige. Remember this also. Ang duwa ka independent clauses can be joined to form a compound sentence. But silingon, ang duwa ka simple sentence, pag i-combine gani nimo, ang magwa compound sentence na. Duwa na siya ka sentence nga ginfuse nga isa. Paano i-combine ang imo nga duwa ka simple sentence? Nagagamit kita sa ginatawag nga coordinating conjunctions. Remember your fanboys, FANBOYS. Acronym na sa ha. So you have for, F for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for are, Y for yet, and S for so. Ang fanboys ginagamit naton para i-join ang duwa ka simple sentences or duwa ka independent clauses kag kung matabuin na ang tawag compound sentence. Lantawan nyo ang example. Example number 1. The beach is a lot of fun, yet the mountains are better. Okay? Pila ka bilog ideas ang aton makita. Duwa ka complete ideas, di ba? Oh, example. Diin ang una nga independent clause or simple sentence nimo sa example number 1. O the beach is a lot of fun. Nga agani, kay may ara sa iya nga subject, which is the beach, kag may ara man sa iya nga predicate, which is a lot of fun. Diba? So you have complete subject and complete predicate. Okay, maikaduwa pagid siya nga idea nga lain man. The mountains are better. Okay? This is also a complete sentence. Kay may ara sa subject nga iya, the mountains, may ara man sa iya nga predicate, are better. So balik liwat sa question, how many simple sentences or independent clauses do you have in sentence number 1? The answer is 2. What word joined them? Ano ang nagsugpon sa ila? You have the word yet, which is again a coordinating conjunction, members sa sang fanboys. So, what kind of sentence are you looking at? The beach is a lot of fun, yet the mountains are better. That is an example of a compound sentence. Kay duwa ka independent clauses nga imo gin-join para mangiisa. Kay another example, we went to the movies and we agreed it was enjoyable. Same as sentence number 1. You have two separate independent clauses. Okay, first simple sentence, we went to the movies. May ara sa iya nga subject, we, may ara man sa iya nga predicate, went to the movies. Diba? Okay, and then we have another independent clause here. We agreed it was enjoyable. Nga because it has its own subject, we, and then it has its own predicate, agreed it was enjoyable. What word joined them? You have the word and. So, Duwa ka independent clauses, gin-join sang word nga and, what kind of sentence did you get? Do you get? Compound sentence. So kabalo na ta kung ano ang ginatawag nga independent clause. Now let's talk about dependent clause. So ang dependent clause, sometimes it is called a subordinate clause. Now, a dependent clause is a group of words nga may ara man sa iya nga subject, kag may ara man sa iya nga predicate, pero hindi siya katindog nga siya lang isa as a complete sentence. Kay nga aman, because it does not have a complete thought. For example, because they will write a song together. Oh, that is an example of a dependent clause nga. Kung lang tawon ta again, may ara sa iya nga subject. Sinong ginaistoryahan? Sila, di ba? Now, may ara man sa iya nga predicate. What is it? Will write a song together. Ang problema, kay before sang word nga they, nga aton subject, may ara sa word nga because. Okay? Let's read it again. Because they will write a song together. Translate. Kay sila masulat kanta nga duwa. Do you understand that? Kung bisan sa aton pa hiligay nun, bisan sa Ilonggo, kay sila masulat kanta nga duwa. Nagsugod ang imo nga explanation sa kay, di ba? Kay sila masulat kanta nga duwa. Okay, so you cannot understand it because it does not have a complete thought. Pero may ara sa subject kag predicate. So, example siya sa ginatawag nga dependent clause. So sa liwat, ang dependent clause, may ara man sa tuod subject kag predicate pero hindi mo siya maintindihan. Kay hindi kompleto ang iya nga thought. So remember, kagina hambal ko pag ang isa ka independent clause ginsugpon sa isa pagid ka independent clause ang magwa compound sentence. Di ba? Duwa ka clauses nga separate nga sentences ginsugpon mo gamit ang fanboys. So therefore magwa compound sentence. Pwede man na bala nga ang independent clause nga makatindog nga siya lang isa kag ang dependent clause nga hindi mo maintindihan isugpon. The answer is yes. What will you get? A complex sentence. Pag ang independent clause, isugpon mo sa dependent clause ang magwa complex sentence. Example, I like the rain, although I hate the flood after. How many ideas do you have in that sentence? Pila ka ideas? Pwede ta mahambal nga duwa, di ba? First idea is I like the rain. The second idea is although I hate the flood after. Okay? Oh, you have I like the rain. Ako nanamian sa ulan. And then you have the other one. Pero hindi ko nanamian sang baha after. Okay. Diin sa ila ang may kompleto nga idea. Ang nagsugod bala sa word nga pero or ang nagsugod sa word nga ako, which is clearly a subject. Ako nanamian sang ulan. Yes. Ang aton nga sentence, ang aton nga clause nga I like the rain sounds more complete. 'Di ba? So therefore, that is an independent clause. Kay pwede siya nga separate sentence na siya. 'Di ba? Kay kompleto ang iya nga thought. Ang ikaduwa, pero ako wala na namian sang baha after. Nagsugod ang iya nga clause sa pero nga word, which means hindi masyado complete ang idea kung i-separate mo sa. So hindi siya makatindog nga siya lang isa bilang sentence. Therefore, this is a dependent clause. Nan. Okay? So kung nakita nyo man, ang dependent clause, hindi mabuhi nga siya lang isa, kinahanglan niya independent clause para maintindihan mo siya. That's why ang tawag saya dependent, kay nagadepende siya sa independent clause. Okay, ang independent clause, ginsugpon sa dependent clause. Ano ang panawag sina nga sentence? Complex sentence. Okay, sentence number 2. Because he was busy, Aldrin could not take your call. The same. How many ideas does sentence number 2 present? Duwa again. Because he was busy, may ara sa iya nga subject ko, he, may ara man sa iya nga predicate, was busy. And then, Aldrin could not take your call. So you have their subject again, Aldrin, and then you have your predicate, could not take your call. Which clause has a complete thought? Siyempre, ang nag-start sa subject na nga daan. This one, Aldrin could not take your call. Therefore, this is an independent clause. Kaya maintindihan mo sa bisan, wala na ang because he was busy. What makes of this ang because he was busy? That is a dependent clause. So, kung makita man ninyo gali, pwede nga ang independent clause ara sa ulihi, mauna ang imo nga dependent clause. What kind of sentence is that? Kay may ara siya dependent kag independent clause? A complex sentence. And we are down to our review. Let us summarize everything that we have discussed today. Ang importante again, aton ma-differentiate ang phrase, ang sentence, kag ang clause. So what is a phrase again? A phrase is a group of words that does not have a complete thought. Grupo sang words nga hindi kompleto ang idea. Tandaan ha, that is a phrase. What about a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that has a complete idea. Suli sa sang phrase. Ang sentence, grupo sang words nga maintindihan mo kay kompleto ang iyang nga idea. And also, a sentence has a subject and a predicate. Okay, what about a clause? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. Ang clause is a group of words nga may ara sa iya subject kag may ara man sa nga predicate, pero pwede nga kompleto ang iyang idea, which in that case we have an independent clause, or pwede man nga hindi kompleto ang iyang idea. Panawag naton is dependent clause. Tandaan always ha, ang isa ka simple sentence pwede naton matawag nga independent clause. I think you are now ready to answer the activities in your notebook so that you could apply your knowledge on using phrases, sentences, and clauses meaningfully. So kindly answer the following in your notebook. What's in task 3? What's in task 4? Task 6, identification. Task 7, matching type. And assessment task 10. I hope you understood our lesson for this week, and I hope to see you again in the next session.